I'm actually glad that I waited before making this particular video.
Pokemon! 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 Pokemon!
Hello everyone, I'm Dustin Benzel, and welcome to another Pokemon XY&Z anime discussion. Today we're going to talk about Ash's next capture. And no, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not talking about the new bird Pokemon that we saw. That's for the next generation. What I'm talking about is the possibility that Ash is going to capture a current generation Pokemon to finish off the rest of this year, because Pokemon in Sun and Moon have been officially revealed and are coming at the end of this year, near November, near December, somewhere near there. That's when Pokemon Sun and Moon is coming out. And what that means is, at that particular moment, we will of course be getting a new anime. So of course, I'm going to completely ignore that, and I'm going to discuss the possibilities. With this confirmation, a lot of my notes I've decided to scrap. So basically, I'm just going to look at some of my notes real quick, but it's just mostly going to be at the top of my head right here because of all of this. I was going to just go ahead and make this video, but with the revelation that the games are coming out this particular year, a lot of my information is a little bit outdated or whatever. So this, of course, will cover possibilities that Ash might capture a Pokemon, what will probably most likely happen, what would be really cool to happen, and my complaints overall in the regards of the handling of Ash's team. Now, let's be fair. The bad handling of Ash's team regards to the quantity of Pokemon on his team rather than the quality. Just making sure to let you know that, because the quality of Pokemon on Ash's team has been perfect. Pretty much all of his Pokemon have been fully evolved. He has fully evolved Pokemon for the most part. Noibat is going to evolve next week. So of course we have that to look forward to and everything like that. So it's just the quantity issue and the way that it's handled in that particular department is what we're going to discuss in this particular video. Okay. So with that being said, there is of course there are a couple of possibilities here. One, what if Ash does catch something just to go ahead and go off, just so we can have a 6th Pokemon? It's not going to be developed much, but I guess it doesn't really matter. What could that be? Maybe not. Maybe Ash won't capture something. Maybe he'll bring back something or something. That those will be all things that we're going to discuss. Now, assuming that they are going to give Ash another Pokemon, which at this point seems highly unlikely since there are much easier options than just having him capture a Pokemon that's not going to get any sort of development whatsoever, considering Pokemon Sun and Pokemon Moon. But what I have here in my notes is, of course, two particular Pokemon. Let's see. And of course, these two options seem like the only likely options simply because they haven't appeared yet. And I realize that doesn't really matter, but it's important because we are ending the end of the generation, that it would make sense to give Ash these particular Pokemon because they haven't shown up, and giving them a random episode might be not as good, because if they're just random, then that potentially wastes an episode that they could have used to end the series. At least if it's a capture, it's at least acceptable. And of course, those Pokemon are the most expected choices for Ash's final Pokemon, and that of course is Phantup and Bergmite. Those are currently the only Pokemon that haven't shown up that are likely possibilities. For the most part, there is also Carbink that hasn't shown up within the anime series on TV yet, and only showed up in the Diancie movie. But I'm going to ignore that right now, primarily because we got a lot of Carbink within the Diancie movie, and they could actually communicate telepathically or just naturally. So it's a little not really sure if they would actually go that route. But it is still a possibility, and I bring it out there as a possibility. Now, there's Phantup and Bergmite. Now, as you all know, if you've watched my episodes before, if you're a long-time fan of mine, you will know that I like Phantup more than any other 6th gen Pokemon for the most part, and pretty much any other Pokemon, period, I would say. I mean, I would arguably say Lucario is still my favorite Pokemon because it's like fully evolved, it's strong, it has a nice thing, and I can imagine so many possibilities with it. But Phantup basically won my heart over because when Trevenant was revealed in the movie, when the movie came out and it revealed Trevenant, people were drawing it and they had the weird drawings or whatever, and I'm like, hey, that would be kind of a cool Pokemon to give Ash. You know what I think? You know, it looks like it could be like a ghost or a grass dark Pokemon or something of that nature. As it turned out, it was a grass ghost Pokemon, and this was important because it looked like an evolved Pokemon. It didn't look like a standalone, although that would have been interesting. It definitely looked like it could evolve. Now, at the time, I thought it was just going to be a stump. Basically, a stump, you know, like a stump Pokemon with a body with legs and arms, you know, glowing eyes, and then it would evolve into, of course, Trevenant or Orato, I believe is what the Japanese name is for. So you can imagine my pleasant surprise when we got Phantup. And I know this is subjective, but it really is one of the cutest Pokemon that I've seen. Now, a lot of people might like to point out, like maybe Inkay, or let's see, is there like, or Dedenne, you know, I'm not sure if there's any other Pokemon regarded as cute or whatever within 6th generation. I don't really have a list of Pokemon with me to remember, but it was really cute to me, and especially one person on, I think it was DeviantArt, I believe is where the image originated. They created a Phantup with particular expressions. It's like looking like angry and stuff, and it just made it a lot better presented. And I felt like this was a great Pokemon for Ash. It was confirmed to be a ghost grass Pokemon, and it would have fit perfectly with Ash, and it got my um, a stamp of approval basically, and I just liked it. Phantup wasn't exactly the best Pokemon, and neither is Trevenant. But the thing about Phantup is that it was really a nice looking Pokemon, and it got to the point where I could enjoy Phantup without it actually evolving, because that's what it seemed like. It seemed like it could be a Pokemon that couldn't evolve. And I know I went over the forums in regards to why Ash should get Phantup, but in my mind, I've always imagined that Phantup could spirit around, floating in the air, flying all over the place, firing shadow balls or energy balls or whatever it was. It seemed like it could be a really cool miniature non-evolving Pokemon for Ash. And if they even went further and gave Ash Trevenant in evolving, I would be slightly heartbroken, but I would still enjoy it because Trevenant is still not a bad Pokemon. I still like Trevenant simply because of its design. It still is there. I just prefer Phantup because I like it more because it's cuter and more enjoyable to look at. So, of course, since Phantup hasn't appeared in the anime, it seems to indicate that it could have happened. So, that is still a strong possibility, even with Pokemon Sun and Moon on the horizon. So, then, of course, let's talk about Bergmite. Now, the problem with Phantup, of course, is that it's really small. Now, Bergmite covers that because Bergmite is like 3 feet, and Avalugg is like near like 6 feet or something like that, or even more, 7 feet possibly. So it seems like Avalugg is closer to Torterra size. So we didn't really need to worry about Bergmite because Bergmite was like basically the size of a middle stage Pokemon. so it could at least fit very well within Ash's team if they portray it accurately within the anime and make it like twice or three times as big as Pikachu. Like its spikes like go up to like Ash's waist basically. There is the possibility that Bergmite would be a great option. The only problem that I have with Bergmite, well, not just because it's not Fanta, but because I don't really like Bergmite all that much. I felt when I saw Bergmite, I was like, "Oh, is that an ice bug Pokemon? I don't think we have an ice bug Pokemon." So it would have been really cool to have an ice bug Pokemon because it looked like a flea or a tick of some sort, but basically icified, looking like ice. Of course, Avalugg kind of looks more like a turtle or a tortoise rather than a bug, but weirder things have happened in Pokemon evolution. So so I thought, but then we found out that it was pure ice. Then of course then of course people were making parallels with third generation, and I'm like, no, that's not a good reason to give Ash Bergmite. Don't give Ash Bergmite just because it's relating to third generation. I know there are a lot of similarities. There's a 4 team. One is a gym leader. Well, that would be Brock actually, but there's also siblings on the team. One of them is in the games. Well, both of them are in the games in sixth generation. And Ash's team basically kind of was hinting towards a third generation. There are just a lot of parallels. The seventh gem has been psychic. Tate and Liza and Olympia both have been a double battle. So there are a lot of parallels. So that was one of the reasons why I didn't want Bergmite. Because it would have been too much like Snorunt. And if I was going to have a Pokemon that was similar to Snorunt and Glalie, for the most part, I would prefer a Pokemon that was dual type, because Ash already has Glalie. He doesn't need he doesn't need a Bergmite. If Ash was going to get another pure ice type, I would have preferred a lot better design. Like a polar bear, like Cubchoo or Beartic. Those Pokemon would have been great. I would have liked it. They would have had specific ice types that would have made sense. But I feel like Bergmite is too much of a carbon copy of Snorunt and Glalie that I wouldn't like it. Of course, as time passed, the more I dislike it, because of course what's coming up soon is Ash is going to battle against Wulfric. Now, we don't know exactly when, but that's the problem. We don't know when Ash is going to battle Wulfric. So having Ash capture a Bergmite before Wulfric, probably not even using said Bergmite, and even if Ash captures Bergmite after Wulfric, the problem is Wulfric's going to have an Avalugg, and for that reason alone, I do not want Bergmite, because I don't want Ash to be either inspired by Wulfric's Bergmite or Avalugg, and that's why he captures a Bergmite, or maybe he captures Bergmite and he uses it against Avalugg or something of that nature. It's not really going to be all that exciting if Ash gets Bergmite. But at the same time, it'll still be an accepted choice, and I'll still enjoy it. So that's pretty much it. Carbink is another option, but like I said, due to the movie and because it's a standalone like Hawlucha, I'm not really sure what much purpose it would have. And plus, with other future speculations in regards to Pokemon Moon and Pokemon Sun, it's not really a viable option. You know, and that being said, probably none of the Pokemon are options. In my notes I mentioned like Mega Evolutions and stuff or whatever, but at this particular point I think it's too late to even consider that. So there are two other options well, three technically, but there are two major options for what's going to happen in the now, before the league, during the league. The final option, of course, is after the league, and it deals with after the league, obviously, when you hear it. But let's go ahead and talk about for the league. there are two options that'll happen for the league. Ash will bring back Gudra. Now, when I made the notes, I was going to mention how much annoying it was because the way that Ash's team is handled. Ash has not had a full team yet, and that's annoying because they got rid of Gudra when Ash only had 5 Pokemon, reduced it down to 4, and then he captured Noibat, so that only bumped his team back to 5. Noibat basically replaced Gudra. And I felt like, well, why not just keep Noibat or Gudra and just let Ash capture Noibat? You know, I mean, Ash has had shared teams on there. I mean, he had 3 flying types already. You were fine with that. So what's wrong with 2 dragon types? You know, and we could have gotten Noibat being developed by Gudra, and who knows, maybe we would have gotten some nice moments with Gudra. Granted, the issue I can understand is Gudra was pretty much a little bit overpowered. I don't personally believe that, but I can see how the writers, the producers, and even other fans could make that conclusion. After all, Ash would probably use Gudra against Moltres. Gudra probably would have been used against Zapdos. Therefore, Fletchinder probably wouldn't have evolved, and neither would Noibat, because Gudra probably would have done very well against said Zapdos as well as Moltres. You know, and especially against Zapdos, especially since Gudra, while it was being released, learned Ice Beam. So, of course, there's that to consider. So that's my issue. And it's just the quantity. It just made no sense. At least give Ash a full team. You can still bring back Gudra, but at least give something Ash to finish his team. So, like in my notes, I was a little upset about this. You know, it made the release even pointless if you were just going to bring it back. And not that I have a problem with Gudra being back and battling Ash. It's just that the way that Ash's team was handled with a max of 5 Pokemon, and then of course in my notes I mentioned 5th generation and all those Pokemon. But you know, I've thought about it, and given that Pokemon Sun and Moon and around the corner, there's just no purpose in complaining about it at this particular point. In fact, Gudra would be a welcome return for Ash's 6th member. You know, it'll be disappointed that Ash's team isn't that varied. You know, he doesn't have that extra brand new type to work with. You know, and he just has a bunch of repeating types. You know, Hawlucha and Greninja basically being the only unique typings on his team. I mean, there is Talonflame, I guess, with its fire types, and you know, and Noibat's like completely redundant, or Noivern anyway. So yeah, there's all that possibility and stuff. So, but I've gotten over it. I would welcome Gudra back. So then, of course, let's go ahead and discuss the next possibility. And that, of course, is bringing back a Pokemon. If Ash brings back a Pokemon, I'm really hoping that he brings back a Pokemon that can evolve and does evolve before the league. I don't care what it is, as long as it evolves before the league, gets a nice couple league battles in, and it serves as Ash's 6th Pokemon, that'd be fine. If Ash is going to use multiple Pokemon, that's fine, but do not do what you basically did in Diamond and Pearl and 5th gen combined. In 5th generation, each Pokemon basically got one battle, and some Pokemon did not get wins. In 4th generation, some of the Pokemon got more than one battle, but most of them did not. And they basically only got one battle, and some, again, did not get wins. I think all of Ash's Sinnoh Pokemon did get a win, though. I think Staraptor beat Roserade, Weasel beat Gastrodon, Infernape beat a whole bunch, Pikachu beat Frostlass, Torterra. Gliscor also took out Drapion. Torterra was the one Sinnoh Pokemon that did not get a single win on Ash's team. So, and that's the problem. That kind of like amplifies when you consider 5th gen. Ash had a whole bunch of Pokemon to work with, but of course the problem is that very few got wins at all. Palpitoad tied, Leavanny lost, even though that battle was great. Unfezant lost randomly. Snivy didn't get a win. Oshawott didn't get a win. Boldore didn't get a win. A lot of Pokemon did not get wins. So I feel like the producers in anime know which unevolved Pokemon did not get very much in terms of the leagues in the past. Bring back one of them, have it battle someone on the side or whatever, maybe even Team Rocket. God forbid they show up, but and have it evolve and then used in the league as much as the other ones. Make sure it gets a win, unlike the tie with Quilava and Armaldo, and actually give Ash's other Kalos Pokemon wins and battles as well. That's one other possibility. Now, one final option before I pretty much end this particular video. There are kind of two parts, but they all are in relation to the next generation. I personally believe Pokemon Sun and Moon is the next generation. Like I said, the only way that it's Generation 6.5 of it takes place in the Kalos region, not South Kalos, directly in South Kalos, or directly in the Kalos region. Not in South Kalos, directly in South Kalos. No, if it takes place in Kalos, and you start in Vanderbilt City and you go through and there's this extra area with brand new Pokemon, that's the only way it could be Generation 6.5. But if this is a new region, new starters, new professor, basically, even if it's called South Kalos, it'll still be a next generation. So what I'm saying is, if of course Ash is going to go and do a badge quest in these Pokemon Sun and Moon games, then I expect and would like to see, well, I don't really expect this, but it would be really nice if two possibilities came back. Ash captured a Pokemon that had relevance in the next generation, or Pokemon Sun and Moon. Maybe some Pokemon will have split evolutions or next generation evolutions, basically, like Phantom. Maybe Ash captures Phantom, but it doesn't evolve into Trevenant. Instead, it evolves into a fairy grass Pokemon or something like that. I mean, that would be kind of weird or whatever. Let's see, there was one Pokemon that I was thinking that could have been a fairy type if it like had a alternative evolution or something, but I can't think of it at this particular moment. Yeah, but it could have been something like that. Give Ash a Pokemon that basically has a next gen evolution, like Apom, but only don't get rid of Apom and trade it with Dawn, basically, just so you can get Buizel. Nothing like that. Let Ash keep it. If it has to be stowed away for a brand new capture that you want Ash to get, then make it right. Ask the professor of that particular new region, or Professor Oak, or come up with a story where it'll come back. Hey, you can stay here, you can rest, let's move on. And of course, when we get into other purposes, I will call you back and use you, for the league and stuff. That's perfectly fine, as long as it's not released and as long as it's not goodbye forever, basically. Then there is one other final possibility that I want to mention, which would be really cool, but I don't expect it to happen since it's never happened to Ash. It kind of has happened with Ash's traveling companions, but they really don't matter that much. Ash seems to promote the next generation, so it's a little weird that this would happen to Ash. But right before the next generation, I would like Ash to actually capture a 7th generation Pokemon. It could be one of the starters, that would be fine with me, but it could just be a completely random 7th generation Pokemon, and that'd be cool. Maybe Ash is like walking around in the Kalos region or whatever, and suddenly he runs into this particular Pokemon. Pikachu could battle it because maybe Ash doesn't have any Pokemon at this particular point or whatever, so he captures the 7th generation Pokemon, and then he ends up in the next generation with Pikachu and said Pokemon. But whatever happens is going to happen, and I eagerly await it. So unless Ash is being disbanded, which wouldn't make much sense, since there really isn't a lot that they can do, and I feel like the league would have already happened or would be happening like right now, or at least we would have some information on it, if indeed you know, Ash did win the Pokemon League and was battling against the Elite Four. Now, they could probably still do this. You know, I mean, there is still quite a few episodes left, technically. If we assume that it's the first November episode, let's see, we have approximately 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. There's probably going to be a couple of breaks there. So, like 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. We have approximately 30 episodes left. Speaking of which, and I'll probably just make a Twitter note, but just to let you know, since this is a Pokemon X, Y, and Z, there is a break at some point, and I think it's after the 24th of March, I believe, which is the, yes, I think it is, oh no, that doesn't say anything. Yes, the 31st of March is a break. I don't know if it's a Naruto break or whatever, but it's a break from Pokemon, so apparently they're making up something that happened that I'm not really sure what it is, but there is a break that time. So the Baniri episode will air April 7th, basically, is what I'm saying. So, yeah, I just realized that I remembered that that's what was said, and I totally forgot to add that in my Serena's Pokemon Showcase review episode. So, yeah, those are all the possibilities in regards to Ash's next capture. Primarily, what I'm expecting the most, however, is basically 7th generation Pokemon. When Ash goes there to the next generation of Pokemon, that's when he's going to get a new Pokemon. Even if somehow Pokemon Sun and Moon turn out to be Generation 6.5, his next Pokemon is going to be one of the new Pokemon in that game. Of course, so anyway, that pretty much covers everything. So thank you for watching. I'm Dustin Benzel, and I will see you in my next video. Goodbye.